what in the hell is this book? I'm making my brain explode. Hello, YouTube fam. Rebecca here. It's time for another Flickety vlog. Why not? I don't know. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning. Just worked out, took a shower. That's how you know it's time for a vlog. I bothered to take a shower today. What are we doing this vlog? First of all, I just finished with Teeth this morning, which is a NetGalley arc. It's written by Kristen Arnett. Comes out June 1st. I didn't love it. It was a little too plotty for me. Interestingly, it was definitely a book about motherhood. And I recently did a video about books about motherhood, and I talked about how the books I chose were doing something I thought was sort of new and interesting around motherhood. And I would say that with Teeth, did the opposite, sorry. I was like very into the cliche of moms who use Chardonnay to deal with their stress, and I don't have time for that. This week I have 2 physical arcs that I need to read. I've been finding that I get very excited about arcs when they show up in the mail, but I then am not super pumped to read them because there's all these great recommendations that people have for me that I want to read, and nobody ever recommends an arc because nobody's read the arc yet because it's an arc. It hasn't been released yet, so nobody can recommend it to you. So you have to go into these books blind. And that's been hard for me to motivate myself to pick up a book that I don't know anything about when I could pick up a book that is well loved. But I need to do it today. 2 books, so I'm gonna do it. First is Things We Lost to the Water. Honestly, this is no longer an arc because this book came out. This was released in May, maybe last week. It's gotten good reviews. This is a debut, if you couldn't tell by his looking literally 12 years old. So this is next. It takes place in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. I'm excited to read it. And then Long Division, a novel by Kiese Laymon. I am psyched to read this actually. June 1st, 2021. I love Kiese Laymon. I've only read nonfiction though. I've never read any fiction. Advanced edition, uncorrected. I love finding typos in the uncorrected galleys, guys. It is my favorite hobby. And I circle them really big and I write typo. And no one ever knows because what am I supposed to do with that information? It's the question, what am I supposed to do with that information? Does anybody know? Anybody out there work for a publisher? Do you want me to send you an email and be like, I found a typo in your uncorrected proof? Or are you like, yeah, that's why it's all called an uncorrected proof? Let me know about that. Okay, so these are the 2 books we're gonna read this week. Ooh, both arcs, both written by men. Hello, who am I? Reading boys. But now I need to, you know, like do things that aren't reading, like walk my dog and do my job. Want to go for a walk? Hi, it's me. I have nothing bookish to share with you. I started reading Things We Lost to the Water. That's what it was called, right? Doing great. Don't even remember the name of the book. I started reading it after work and I got 10 pages in maybe, and my parents called. And now we're here and now I'm about to make dinner. Great. I'll have more to report later. My parents called because I uploaded today a video in which I asked my husband Justin a bunch of questions and I sent the video link to my parents. They don't understand YouTube. Called to ask me if the part in the video where it sped up really fast meant that my dad's phone was broken. It was a real question. They also asked me after they watched it what if I was gonna put it onto the internet. I was like, yeah, you are watching it on the internet. I really came on here because I want to show you this insane maitake mushroom I got at the farmer's market this weekend. It's insane, right? I'm gonna cook that tonight with some kale and some beans and maybe some eggs. Like a fried egg on top, because it's dinner if you put a fried egg on top, right? Oh, it doesn't actually smell very good. Very exciting bookish mail happening here. University of Chicago Distribution Center, baby. Look at that, it's real. You weren't lying this whole time. You really did write a book. Look at you, nerd. Good job. So proud of you. Are you proud, Hushpuppy? Your dad wrote that book. How impressed are you? Yeah, I made that. She fancy. Look at those little mushroom critters. Justin, how did you feel about your YouTube debut?
I really feel that I have lots of viral potential.
Oh, yeah. I feel like you have a lot of viral potential.
Definitely, yeah. I'm gonna be meme-ified.
You're definitely gonna be meme-ified.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's probably gonna be backed by the Pastrami Reuben Council. Big Reuben, Big Pastrami is coming to sponsor you.
That would be amazing.
Yeah?
That's kind of a dream of mine.
When you're Pastrami famous, are you gonna leave me?
I hadn't really thought about it, but a whole new world of opportunities is opening before me as we speak.
Okay, well, keep your options open. Hello, it's me. It is Wednesday morning. I just finished my first meeting of the day, and now I need to work out. I'm just gonna do a 30-minute little thing with my body and the motion and the moving. But I have read 50 pages of things we lost to the water. Here's what's happening so far. We have a family, 2 young boys and a woman, and they are refugees from Vietnam. They've just arrived in New Orleans, and it is the late 70s. It's not a happy book. It's pretty unrelentingly hard. It is in the third person, although the perspective really seems to be from the older son, who seems to be like elementary school age. The younger son was born in the refugee camp in between Saigon and New Orleans. Like I said, really hard stuff. What I am most struck by so far is the incorporation of Vietnamese words and language throughout. It's very persistent, and it feels different and interesting to me. It feels like this is not a book written for me. This is not a book written for white people. This is not a book meant to be easy for white people to read. This is a book written in defiance of the white gaze. Perhaps I'm putting too much on it there, but that's how it feels, and it feels good. It feels interesting. It feels like a little radical. I'm into it. It's exciting. I think there was a part around, in Vietnamese, the words tell you how they want to be pronounced. And I don't know what that means because I don't speak Vietnamese, but I'm interested. I'm into the language piece of this book so far. So that's where we are. I'm definitely going to try to keep reading some more today in between meetings, but now it is time to move my body and jump around like an idiot. I just watered my garden. You guys want to see? Look, so micro, so green. Look at all those peas. They're shooting up, those peas. They're crazy. Squashy, squashy. Broccoli, peas, kale. Dog eating grass. Don't do that. And my goal this weekend is to get my tomatoes in on the tomato cages. Look at my roses. They're gonna be amazing so soon.
Asian opinion. I think Don Barrett's gonna make it today.
All right, guys, I may have gotten in a little over my head on this one. Oops. I was like, the kitchen needs a little help. And now there are no knobs on any of the cabinets. A lot of shit on my island, and here we are. I think I'm gonna paint them. Is that honestly the world's worst idea? Painting your own cabinets? Replace the knobs. Here's a problem. Now that I've taken all the knobs off, this one doesn't open. So I guess we're gonna have one knob that doesn't match. So things are going really well. All right, I did it. I started painting. Probably a huge mistake. And now I have to pause because I have to lead a webinar. I think I'm just gonna undo the top of my overalls and no one will ever know. Am I a genius? I spent a lot of today painting. Now I'm reading Things We Lost to the Water. Oh. There's paint in my hair, of course there is. Awesome. I don't know why I decided to take on this project, but here we are. Okay, book, Things We Lost to the Water. This is the story of a family of three, two boys and their mother, who are originally from Vietnam and flee communists in Saigon, immigrate to New Orleans. The perspective shifts, so the chapters, they're all in third person, but they follow each of the three family members closely and tell their perspectives in turn. It's three different perspectives on assimilation. We see the youngest son who takes on an American name. He decides to go by Ben. He has no memory of Vietnam at all. He's really chosen assimilation. He is gay and hangs out at a strip club in the quarter. His best friend is Haitian and he seems to be really of New Orleans. The older son, who seems to really be struggling with his identity as an immigrant, he's joined a gang of Vietnamese immigrants and he's sort of struggling with that and if that's really what he wants to be doing. And then their mother, who tries really hard to hang on to the values and things that were important to them in Vietnam. She's very rooted in that, and she everything she says to her kids is, what would your father say if he saw you now? We'd be better off if we'd stayed in Vietnam. New Orleans is full of bad influences. So we have these three different responses to assimilation. It's a fast read. I wouldn't say it's like earth-shattering or anything, but it's enjoyable. Should I go paint a little bit more tonight? Why not? I put everything away. I'll paint some more tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I have a couple meetings. I'm getting coffee with a friend. When I'm going to the seedling sale tomorrow, there's a local high school here that has like a farming program, which is pretty cool, like an urban farming program. And we like to support them every year at their seedling sale. So I've been waiting to buy my tomates until that happens. It starts tomorrow. I'm gonna get tomatoes, maybe cucumbers. I'll definitely get my tomatoes in the ground this weekend. Will you guys judge me if you see this white paint in my hair for the remainder of this vlog? Good morning! Friday morning. I'm in a great mood. It's a beautiful day. My cabinets look pretty good. I'm still covered in paint. I'm meeting a friend for coffee. There's water on my shirt from washing my face. I'm going to the post office today to send Miss Lade off to Lindsay. I made her a little note. Lindsay's amazing. In and of on Instagram for great bookish and flower content. She's also just a great human. So we're doing a little book exchange, and I had this old envelope and the book fits perfectly. It's the exact same size. Is anything more satisfying? So work, dog walk, coffee, post office, seedling sale. Big day, big Friday plans. Clean up the massive mess that I've made in the kitchen with the painting tarps everywhere. And try to finish Things We Lost to the Water. I'm on page 221. Try and finish today and update you then. I have no idea what I said last time I talked to you about this book. It's going quickly. I'm enjoying it. The scene that I just read this morning, it's now the 90s and she is returning to Vietnam for the first time. I'm double checking the dates that it's the 90s. Yeah, it's 1999. Now, the years are listed at the beginning of each chapter. The character whose perspective the chapter will be in, and the year are listed at the beginning of each chapter. As you can see, we've gone from the 70s all the way to 99. Something tells me that this book is gonna end in the mid-2000s with Hurricane Katrina, because it's a New Orleans book and we are rapidly approaching that time frame. How do I feel about that? I'm not sure. I wonder how people from New Orleans feel about that New Orleans books often have the climactic end scene of Hurricane Katrina. Part of me thinks if that were me, maybe I would feel like this was a really traumatic thing that happened to me, and I appreciate the experience being made available so people could understand it. But also I feel like maybe I'd be like, I don't need the most traumatic thing that ever happened to me to be the only thing that people know about my rich and vibrant city. And maybe this is all a waste because maybe that's not how this book ends at all. We'll see. And shoulders are out, baby. Spring is sprung. Hushpuppy. We're finishing on our walk. And I gotta tell you, if you're not listening to the Resistance podcast, you're missing out. It is so good. It is such like a joyful, well-reported, celebratory take on Black liberation. I love it very much. I've been doing this series for the past maybe month. I think there have been 4 of them. I just listened to a called the Fuck Your Water Fountain series, where they celebrate under-known, under-recognized people from the civil rights movement who were just irreverent and were like, fuck your bullshit racist laws. And it is so good. That's my recommendation for today. That and cherry blossom buds on the ground. It is Friday afternoon. I just finished my work. I'm sitting in the backyard with my best friend Hushpuppy. I went to the seedling sale. Can you see my seedlings like somewhere over there? And now I'm gonna sit out here in the backyard and read a little bit. I had a good chat today with my book bays, Iggy and Ben, literary Iggy, Ben Green, about Deborah Levy. All 3 of us are pretty big Levy fans. The 3rd installment of her living autobiography series comes out, well, I think today in the UK and August in the US. And I was planning on reading it. I actually haven't read any of the living autobiography series. I was sort of thinking I would do all 3 at once. Kind of fun. We were talking about how there was some chatter on the Twitters about a story of hers that was released in the 80s called Proletariat Zen. And there is some really racist, stereotypical Chinese American dialect used in the story. Pretty offensive. Definitely racist. And Ben and Iggy and I were talking about it, and I think we had like a generally pretty interesting conversation around what to do about that. Or not to do about it. What, as readers and consumers of work, we should expect. I'd be interested to hear anyone else's take on this. I think that generally speaking, to see a author evolve and progress and change their mind over time is the goal. For an author to say, I did something and I didn't know it was wrong and now I know it's wrong. I have learned. I think that's progress. What we want is more people saying, I once believed X was okay and now I know it's wrong. That's the goal. So I want to celebrate that. We were looking at what Levy said in response, and she said, I'm glad to have been called out on this. I recognize it was offensive. I do not give permission for this story to be reprinted ever again, which I think is all good and so close. Acknowledging the harm, not allowing herself to continue to profit from it, not allowing the harm to continue to be done by anybody reading it anymore. I think both are great things. She acknowledged the harm, but she hasn't actually taken any reparative steps. So an estimation of however much profit she made off the story at the time be donated to an AAPI rights organization or something like that. And I'm curious to hear what anyone else thinks, especially people of Chinese descent. Like, do you feel like that would repair the harm that is done or take efforts in that direction? How do you feel about this? Question being, will I continue to read Deborah Levy? I won't read that story, that's for sure. Will I read the Living Autobiography series? I believe I will. Yeah. What does that mean? I think, like, we live in a capitalist society. We vote with our dollars. We support with our money. Could this money be better spent in other ways? Absolutely. 100%. I do not doubt that. Perhaps I will take what I spend on those books and donate an equal amount to an organization. I think that's probably what I will do. Yeah. So right now, no right answers. I think I will still read those books. Curious to hear what others think. Drop me a comment, send me a DM, holler at your girl. And now I'm gonna read and sit out here with my boy. I was in the backyard getting those seedlings done, getting them in the ground, and I heard delivery on the front porch. I came inside. My sisters-in-law said they were sending something to Justin to celebrate his book coming out this week. Would anybody like to guess what it is? The box is from Katz's Delicatessen. It is a massive box full of pastrami Reubens. It is so good. Wow, they really know him. He's gonna die.
Hey. I got some deli goods, it looks like. I would bet pastrami. I think somebody watched a video and bought me some pastrami.
You look very excited.
It is. That's amazing. And got some Russian dressing.
Nice. Nice.
What a solid gift.
What a solid gift. You should write more books.
I can't think of a better gift, honestly.
It's a dream.
It is.
Good morning. It's Saturday morning. I'm still in bed. Deal with it. Sorry. I mean, I wasn't gonna do this, but like, look at that. I finished Things I Lost the Water. It was good. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to based on the cover. The cover is truly terrible. Sorry, I did more painting yesterday. The cover gives serious Reese's Book Club energy. The book was good. It wasn't life-changing in any way. I didn't have my pen out. I didn't underline anything. Nothing blew me away, but it was good. It was a good bowl of ice cream. There was nothing to complain about it. Yes, the ending did end with Hurricane Katrina. We all saw it coming, guys. The ending was a little rushed. I wasn't blown away by the ending. It felt rushed. It felt a little debut novel-y. Look at me. I'm such an expert. Yeah, so I'm gonna start Long Division today. I'm really excited. I read like just a couple pages last night when I finished the other book just to see a taste, and the voice is so good. I'm gonna do some more painting today. I'm gonna paint some upstairs baseboards today. I'm gonna replace all the knobs in the kitchen. Go for a bike ride maybe. Justin is going to the city, going to New York on the train today, having a little sleepover with a buddy. And I've got an evening to myself, which is amazing. What am I going to do with it? Probably order takeout, go for a bike ride, watch a movie. Who knows? The world is my oyster. It's just me and this guy today. Have a beautiful Saturday, friends. Checking in. It's Saturday. Just lounging. I am officially done painting. How the cabinets look, they look the same to you. I see that. I know what you're saying there, but chill. Be cool, man. They look nice, okay? They're so clean and white and unscratched. They are without knobs. So later today, I will go out and get new knobs and install those, and then we'll be done. 1 o'clock, my book club is about to meet. My book club, made up of my California friends. We meet on Zoom. That is about to happen in a few minutes. When I was in California and I was with them in person, we all went to the bookstore and we picked out Breasts and Eggs. So I read that a few vlogs ago. I wasn't crazy about it. Had a lot of thoughts. Text my friends was like, ladies, we need to chat. So I'm excited to finally have that chat with them. I'll report back if they liked it. I'll report back if anybody had really... I did shower. I promise. I'll report back if any of my friends have really strong feelings about the book. So we have book club. We're gonna do knobs. And then I'm gonna ride my bike over to the wine store, get a bottle of wine, come home, and actually read that Kiese Laymon book. I think it's gonna get weird, guys. The conceit seems to be around a sentence making competition, which is like amazing. I love that is what the book is about. That is the central dramatic arc, is about making sentences. That speaks to my heart in a very real way. So we'll see. Wow, what beautiful cabinets. They're just so fresh. It's great. Okay. Book club time.
And to keep reading.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Right. But I felt like, I don't know.
I have a very exciting Monday update. This is my baby monstera I made from a trimming of the big monstera that's downstairs in the living room that you've probably seen in a bunch of my videos. And it has a new leaf. And the new leaf has almost complete cuts amazing, which means this plant is so happy and healthy, and I'm so proud. Look at that. Wow. Those are going to be amazing. So this leaf only has 3 cuts, and then each new leaf has had more and more, which is so exciting. This one is just thriving and living its best life. I'm so happy for you, little buddy. Hey Justin, would you please Vanna White our new cabinet situation? Model all our new painting and knobs.
The semi-gloss?
Oh yeah.
Not the full gloss.
No.
Just the semi-gloss.
The semi-gloss, that's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah.
For semi-fancy.
Do you have one of these pull guys? You want to show off one of these pull guys over here?
Very comfortable. Really
Oh.
fits all the fingers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it glides really
It
smooth.
does, yeah, really smooth.
Wow, it's really nice.
Yeah, whoever did that really has a knack for home appliance, home repairs.
That's right. Call 1-800 Rebecca Eats Books.
That's right.
Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. I'm about to take Hushpuppy for a walk, and I think it's time to unhaul some library books. So when I walk Hushpuppy this morning, I'll walk down to the library and drop them off. Our library got rid of its late fees, which is amazing, but I've been hoarding some library books and I need to return them because I have a large TBR pile and I haven't gotten to them and it feels rude. So this is the TBR situation. I recently reorganized. We have TBR. These TBR are the ones I'm most likely to pick up next and less likely to pick up. Here are library TBR, and then these are the Yale library books. Some of them I read, some of them I haven't, but I haven't been on campus in forever, so we're not worrying about those. We're gonna focus on these. All right, let's see. I'm gonna read this, and I'm gonna read all of these. Great. This isn't going well so far. Okay, I'm gonna return this for now. I will read Homeland Elegies one day, but today is not the day. I'm gonna return Supper Club for now. And then I don't need both of these Susan Choice, The Foreign Student and American Woman. I'm gonna go ahead and unhaul both of these. So here's my library unhaul. I'm gonna keep reminding myself that I can get them back out at any time. No need for a scarcity mindset here. They'll still be there. In the meantime, someone else can read them. If you've read any of these books and feel really strongly about me reading any of them, please let me know. Make me feel bad for unhauling them, okay? Hey, buddy. Hi, it's me. It's Tuesday. I'm here to wrap this vlog up and to talk to you about Long Division. I will talk about Long Division in a second. I will try to give a synopsis, but it will be hard because I'm not even sure what happened in that book. But I want to say that of the 2 books I read this week, this was an unintentionally themed vlog. These were both Katrina novels in 2 really different ways. Things I Lost to the Water was a story about New Orleans culminated in Katrina. Long Division by Kiese Laymon is very much a post-Katrina book, very much interested in what it means to be a person who experienced Katrina. So together, they made for a very interesting reading week where I thought a lot about that storm. Also, New Orleans. The Yellow House by Sarah M. Broom is a memoir about growing up in New Orleans East. I spent some time in New Orleans when I was a teenager, early 20s time. New Orleans East is something that I had never even heard of. I found that book to be incredibly enlightening, incredibly educating, blew my mind open about gentrification, stratification, segregation in New Orleans. It's a great book. The characters in this book live in New Orleans East. There's a lot of talk about Chef Mentor Highway, which if you've read The Yellow House, you'll know all about. These are 2 great companion reads. If you enjoy this book and you want some more context around the area where they live, I highly recommend The Yellow House by Sarah Broom. Long Division by Kiese Laymon. One more thing before I try to do a synopsis here. When I say this is a post-Katrina book, I think that can mean a lot of things. This book is trying to illuminate in some way the post-traumatic experience. In this book, a major theme is disappearance, the disappearance of people. And the characters who live in this world are all very familiar with disappearance. They believe that people can just disappear into thin air because they lived through Katrina, and they know that there were people in their lives who one day were there and the next day were gone and their bodies were never found. And that is one way that they've processed the trauma of Katrina. All right, Long Division by Kiese Laymon. What in the hell is this book? Here we go, ready? Buckle up. So you start the book, it's 2013. Our main character is a character named City, short for Sitoyan, and he is great. Loves dynamic sentences. He has a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts about the power of language. I love him. His experience is pretty absurd. I would say the first half reads like The Sellout by Paul Beatty mixed with The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. So it's like got that absurdist Paul Beatty sellout vibe going where you're like, wow, this guy can't catch a break. While he's being berated by his principal, he's getting in trouble at school, he finds a book in his principal's office called Long Division. It has no author, and the main character's name is also City, short for Sitoyan. He's trying to figure out what this book means. There's a missing girl in his neighborhood. It's 2013, and there's a girl who's gone missing, and she just disappeared, and nobody knows what happened. He's trying to figure everything out, and then Book 2. Flip the book over. In Book 2, it is in the 1980s. Our main character is also named City, but it's not the same person. And he also finds a book called Long Division. It becomes clear to the reader that the book that the character in the first half finds is the second half. The book that the character in the second half finds is the first half. So they're both reading the other book. That is super meta and very complicated to explain. The characters in the book are reading the other half of the book in each half. Bear with me, I haven't even gotten to the time traveling yet. In the second half of the book, City is in the 80s, he time travels to 2013, meets that girl who goes missing in the first half in 2013. Turns out she went missing because she time traveled, right? Sort of. Or she goes missing because her parents time traveled and then her existence no longer existed, so she disappeared. So we're time traveling from the 1980s to 2013. We're time traveling from 1980s to the 60s. There's members of the KKK. We are following all these different storylines over time. It becomes clear that all these people are related through different generations in all of these time periods. What in the world is happening? What is Kiese Laymon doing here? So first, he's talking a lot about the power of language. Does language have the power to make or rewrite history? Do words have the ability to bring people back from disappearing? If we use language to conjure up our long gone relatives who have disappeared because of Katrina or because of racial violence or because of time, can we bring them back can we resurrect them with language? There's also a lot about family and lineage, and also about the repetition of history, especially racial violence, and how violence against Black people is history that repeats itself in America. I mentioned that the first half of the book exists as a book in the second half and vice versa. So we have books within books twice. Then also in the first half, the main character City gets in trouble with his principal and is given an assignment. One of the questions in the assignment, I'm gonna find it. One of the questions in this assignment is write 3 stories in 3 different time periods. The 3 stories should explore a question you've been afraid to ask. So clearly the book as a whole is also the answer to that prompt. So we have the first half referenced in the second half, the second half referenced in the first half, then both halves as a whole referenced in that question. Kiese Laymon is trying to break our brains, making my brain explode. A lot going on here. Yes, there is time travel. Would I call this a science fiction book? Probably not. What would I call this book? I don't know. If you've read this book, explain to me what this genre is. I don't know. Maybe it is science fiction and I just don't read enough science fiction, so I don't recognize it as that. It did stretch the limits of my suspension of disbelief, for sure. I'll tell you now, there's a scene with a talking cat, and I can't do that. I'm sorry, Kiese, I can't. The first half of the book doesn't have time travel. It's definitely weird, but it doesn't have the Stranger Things vibe that the second half has. Second half has strong Stranger Things vibes. To me, I much preferred the first half because the first half was really focused on the language, and just like the voice of City in the first half is so well done. It is so specific. It's just like incredibly developed language-wise. The second half is much more about plot. And the second half is where we find out what exactly is going on and who's related to who and who's who and what's what and where did people disappear to. And that's less interesting to me than the language. All in all, this was a wild book. I'm curious to hear if more people read this and also similarly have their brains broken. I went into this really blind. I was like, I will read anything Kiese Laymon writes. And I'm glad I went into it blind, because if I knew there was time travel, I probably wouldn't have read it, and that would have been a loss. I'm really glad I read this. Is this the most me book of all time? No, but it's cool to have had this experience. This book is definitely more traditionally me. It's a family story, but this was a great week. I enjoyed both of these books. They both handled similar themes. Not only Katrina, but also familial passed down trauma was a huge storyline and theme in both of these books. The legacy of trauma that we inherit from our family, the choices we make in trying to break those cycles of trauma, the choices that each generation chooses to make, also the power of language in rewriting those stories was a huge theme in both of these books. I found this to be a very complimentary reading week. I got very lucky. It doesn't often go that way. I'd like to see a round table of Eric Nguyen and Kiese Laymon together. Make that happen. All right, thanks for joining me this week. Thanks for watching me have a total, complete meltdown around my kitchen cabinets. I feel like I could not end this vlog until that project was done, so, you know, we did it. Yeah, now I'm gonna go figure out what the hell I'm gonna read next. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you're interested in either of these books, if you've read either of these books, if you could tell me what the hell happened in this book. Please let me know. And I will see you all in the next one. Love you, nerds!